Everybody, welcome to the show. You know where you are, the 9 at 9 with me, Tigo. And you know, if you're sitting there right now, it's 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, and we have an amazing expert coming to the stage. But today is extra super special because we're going to talk about empowerment, getting inspired, and motivation. Let's go. So sit right there. We'll be right back.
Expert Talk is sponsored by Pod Nation TV, the podcast to broadcast network.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Yeah, this next young lady is all about empowerment. You know, for me, I've had a couple of best-selling, books, but she's working on number 16, I believe. Ooh, yeah, Dr. Shellie Hipsky is here. And let's rock this empowerment and get inspired, Doc. What's happening?
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. We had some peaks and valleys trying to pull this off, but you're finally here. And I thank you for, just hanging out a little bit. And we got this now. Okay, so I heard a little birdie told me, and I know we should probably save this for later, but it's just too good to hold on to. A little birdie told me, you're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award? Why? You're only like 25. You've not done much. I mean, you've got what, 15 bucks? Who does it? What's going on? Lifetime Achievement, congratulations.
I'm keynoting next week at UCLA. It's one of my many colleges that I've been able to keynote at, from Harvard to Oxford University in England. And I'm going to be at UCLA, and the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award is being given to me by the President Joe Biden's White House. They're honoring me with that because I have done over 4,000 hours of volunteer service in my lifetime so far.
Wow. Okay. I would say how important is volunteering, but you're proving it. What made you start volunteering in the beginning, that first hour? What made you say, I'm going to do it?
So my parents were both very active in the 80s with when HIV and AIDS was predominant. My father was a doctor. He had one of the very first AIDS patients in Akron, Ohio, in his hospital bed that he had to work with. And I remember sitting around the dinner table, Tigo, and my dad said, I took an oath to serve the needs of the patients that come into my practice. And he had AIDS, and my mother started getting very emotional. Not my dad didn't have AIDS, but the person his new patient. And my mother started emotional because she worked in the theater at the time. She ran the local theater, and a lot of the gay men that were in the theater at the time were very concerned or contracting it at this time because we didn't know that much about it. There was a lot of worry about it. But my parents both came together and we said, go do this, Dad. We came together. We helped to build Micah House there in Akron, Ohio. And
wow.
Since then, we would go, and my mom would take the guys out for dinner every Wednesday night, and we would make huge Thanksgiving dinners for them. And I would dress up in a little elf costume and pass out presents at Christmas time. So it really became a part of my life at a very, very young age. Just giving back, getting in there, getting in the mix. And I've been doing it ever since, from homeless shelters to helping with domestic violence survivors. It's very much on my heart to give back. I'm very much a servant leader.
Well, I want to thank you and your family because I remember the 80s very well, lost a lot of friends. Yeah. I actually remember sitting on a stoop at a brownstone in San Francisco and seeing the quilt march for the very first time. I think there were 12 patches. Then it was very small, and there were hundreds of people out there with candles, and we didn't even know what it was. We didn't know what the crowd was. And then when they went by, we saw the quilt, and that's how we knew what it was. So I want to thank you. I did back in the day, I'm a computer programmer, and I wrote computer code so that they could, back then there was no chatting, like we have now. We wrote it so they could chat through their computers. back in the day. So because they were at home alone. So I remember, I totally remember, and I thank you and your family.
Well,
because
we thank you for what you did. And it's not a death sentence anymore, which is such a
right.
to be able to say, because there was the education and those type of things, and the medical progress. But I think that we need to consider that with the volunteering and with the giving selflessly and getting in there and not being afraid to go where there could be some danger we didn't know
Right.
at that. But being able to do that, giving those a voice, giving them a hand, giving them somebody that felt kind of like family, that's important.
Mhm.
That's huge
It's important today too. And I have nothing against the food drives and the turkeys and all that stuff for the major, Thanksgiving and the Christmas holiday season and all that. But people are hungry all year long.
always.
You
Absolutely.
see them out there. I mean, tons come out for Thanksgiving. And it's like, then you come back there a couple of weeks or a month later, and it's the same core crew
Yep.
that has been doing it all along. And it's like, we forget that, kids have to eat when there's no school food programs. People are homeless and they have nothing to, eat or keep them warm or anything in the winter, not just in the holiday season. So whenever I meet someone like you that is truly digging deep and rolling her sleeves up, I want to say bravo. If I wasn't strapped to this chair with this mic, I would give you a standing ove, because I think it's absolutely amazing. And you didn't stop there. You also started a nonprofit, correct?
My Global Sisterhood. I mean, I started it, but women around the world have really come together, pulled their resources, pulled their networks, made things happen, from our entrepreneurial school in Tanzania, Africa, to Dr. Mina, who is in Nepal, she was a Harvard researcher, Tigo, and she went back to her homeland of Nepal when there was a huge earthquake. Most of her family
Wow.
died, and she looked around and she saw that was huge. But also there was so many women that were not able to read, they were not able to communicate, they were not able
Mm.
to get jobs and provide for their families. So she has taught, Dr. Mina is one of our wonderful leaders of the Global Sisterhood, and she has taught over 87,000 women how to read and write there in Nepal.
Wow. Talk about, that's an achievement. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. So I've got to ask before I get any further in, I always talk about fear. I always talk about what's stopping you. You are taking on the world. Are you afraid of anything?
Oh, am I afraid of anything? Yeah, narcissists.
I'm with you there, Doc. I'm with you there.
Crap out of me.
I love it. I love it. You have written 15 books.
I have.
And they're more than 10 pages in a cover, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
I started back. I was a tenured professor for a decade, and so I had my undergrad and my doctoral students. It was very publish or perish. So I got in there. I was writing textbooks. I was writing a lot of, I went into the bestseller type of inspirational books, really because I met one woman who changed my life, and so it just really spiraled from there. I met Clarelle Radicella, God bless her soul. She's up in heaven now, and she's one of my angels that's helping me with all of this. But there have been people along the journey that have gotten me to where I'm at, and being able to interview over 1,000 women around the world. I've been on over 60 magazine covers at this point. Forbes, and I do a lot of different things, but it wouldn't have been possible without the amazing angels and people that have helped me along the way.
That's amazing. Now I know we got to run out of time because Alan threw that 2-minute warning up there, and I got to have you come back because we're just getting started.
Yay.
But you have an event coming up. Your empowerment event is coming up. Can you just take like 30 seconds, tell us what's going on, how they can find you?
So it's actually a 7-week proven curriculum for women around the world to come together and find out how they can find inspiration, empowerment, balance, and abundance.
Ooh.
love for any woman out there that really wants to live their best life and live their dreams as far as having a business and being able to balance it with their family life to come into the Empower You Masterclass. It's the 8th cohort coming up.
And how do they get in touch with you, Doc?
ShellieHipsky.com.
ShellieHipsky.com. You're amazing. You know, this is our 9 at 9 show. We got to have you come back. I hope you'll come back and just hang out with us again, because this is so much fun. And you are inspiring. I'm thinking millions. I'm just going to put it out there. You are inspiring millions. I thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Okay. Don't look at me like that. I got you. I know you're probably driving or you're busy at work and you didn't get how to get in touch with Dr. Hipsky. Very easy. You know what to do. Go to tigodirect.com. Type in Dr. Hipsky. Type in inspiration. Type in motivation. She's coming up. Don't worry about it. And reach directly out to her. It costs you nothing. It costs her nothing. It's our way to connect us and make sure you guys can reach out to all of our amazing guests. All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know you did. You know I want you to come back next time. And as always, I'm Tigo. I'll talk to you next time.